It's a very good afternoon. Welcome here to Sydney University Oval number 1 for this round 15 clash between the Sydney University Students and the St George Dragons. A beautiful afternoon for football. So much on the line for both these sides this afternoon. For Sydney University, well, they'll be looking to cement their spot in the final 5 for 2014. For the St George Dragons, on the other hand, well, they've got a chance to really put some pressure on and fight for that second chance in the final series. Sitting currently in 4th position on equal points with Western Suburbs. They'd be keen to get a win under their belts. Also keen to return to the winners list after going down to Pennant Hills a couple of weeks ago in round 14. Both teams obviously coming off a bye and time to rest up and get the bodies right. We're getting into the pointy end of the season now. It's nearly finals time at this stage, and we're just waiting for the umpires to get in position and get ready for the start of the match. Round 15 in the AFL Sydney competition. And if I had to pick a side this afternoon, I'd probably be looking at Sydney University. Just feel they've got a little bit more to play for this afternoon just to get that spot in the finals for 2014. We're underway in the middle. And straight away it's the students who come out with it. Goes deep into 50, bounces over the back, and mopping up there for St George was Sharp. Goes wide, the kick just offline, so Sydney University got another chance now. Going into the pocket, a good kick, and the mark taken, and it'll be the goal-kicking machine that is Evan Smith. Evan Smith currently sitting in the top 10 goals. It's 25 for the year. Only played the 10 matches, so he'd be keen to set his afternoon off in glorious form. Speaking of glorious, the sun is shining. A little bit cold, if we had to say something about the weather, but at the moment, perfect conditions. Smith, they've done this plenty of times at training. Measured approach, the kick is good off the boot, he's got it, and Sydney University get the first on the board, and they'll be very happy with the start of the game. Evan Smith been a revelation for Sydney Uni this season. As I said, currently sitting 7th on the goal-kicking ladder. Of course, Braden Fowler from the Manly Ringer Giants, he's well out in front, kicking 63 for the season so far. But a good start for the students. In the first minute, they get their first on the board. And once again, out of the centre, attacking. Green was there for the students. Very dry out there at the moment. The free kick coming to Harrison Green. Green and Green wearing 15 and 16. I'm going to say respectively, doesn't really matter. And Sydney Uni, they're rolling out 3 Smiths this afternoon, so they're default names for both sides. This ball trickles over the boundary line. Sort of spirited affair just before this between Sydney University and the Manly Ringer Giants in the under-19s. The Giants coming away with that win. It was very close all afternoon. Comes down too far above West's head, but they get it back, the Dragons. Trying to push through the middle there is Lakakis. Eventually ends in the arms of Jones. And under pressure in the clinches at the moment, both sides. And the umpire letting it go, and this eventually comes in to throw the ball in the air. Very different conditions to our last game. Out there at Olds Park, it was very wet and windy and overcast. The sun is shining, but as I said, a little bit cool here at Sydney Uni. They go for it again. Smith could have been pushed in the back. Umpire says no. They've got another opportunity from wide out. Gives it every opportunity. Pots at the top of the square. Round the corner. Kick on goal is a classic. A great goal there off the boot of Ben Fitzpatrick. And they've got 2 in a row, the students. A great start to this afternoon. Have another look at it. Off the stoppage. And came in. This is the one where Smith almost got the push in the back. Good handball across from Fig. Out in front. The kick was even better. Just sat up nicely to the advantage. And Fitzgerald just swings it around the corner. And perfect placement. And a great goal to Sydney University. Once again, we get started. And this time, a free kick going to the Dragons. It's off the play, and as such, the advantage has been missed. It has to come back to the middle. It'll be Green, Harrison, Green to take the kick. I thought the advantage was in the favour of the Dragons there. I don't think they finished the kick off, so in some ways, a little of a let off. And they go forward now for the first time this afternoon. The back of the pack there was Jones, couldn't take the mark. Gets it across. Now Sydney University shark it out of the pack. The bounce awkward. Gets eventually through. And now the umpire said holding the ball. Incorrect disposal. Very tight on that one. And the kick will come back to win. Decides to go short and wide. Finds Thomas Green. And he could have a shot if he wants to. Just pops up centre of the square. Ryan was the target. Plenty of fists in there. Plenty of students around the ball now. Just need to find an avenue out. Nothing on long. And eventually they just have to go. And a pack of Dragons forms. And Sharp takes the mark. Swings it back inside. Sharp as well. Gets it back. Eventually now it's with Green. Green goes over the top. Gives it to Green. So Sharp, Sharp, Green, Green. And this one bounced awkwardly. Playing the football wasn't the option there. And eventually they come away with it. Addison with the ball. There's a whistle on play. It's going to be Can't quite see what it was for, but eventually the shot's coming. Lukakas with the ball. Gets it off the right boot. Looks for the goals. Beautiful kick. And the Dragons get there first. So good answer there from St George. We roll it back and just have a look. Ball comes in. Lording there, went for the ball. Eventually just out of screen. Could have been a high contact there. It was there on Lukakas. As we're back in the middle. This one come back. Secondary bounce, we reset. Sydney Uni playing 4 players inside the goal square at the moment. It's the starting point, and then they spread, but it's St George who get the clearance. They go forward again, looking for Addison. Sits up nicely, just has to get it across, try to kick it around the corner. Couldn't do so. And the minor score. And the quick ball movement from the students. Get lost a little bit out here in the space of Sydney Uni, but they straighten up now. Got Vincent if he wanted to use him wide, doesn't so, decides to go longer. Right in front, Son an issue on this kick, and a good mark taken. That's West. And Jordan West, eyes on the football. Now they move it quickly. Across from Rod Craig, gives it to Green. Green's kick goes out to Green. In fact, it's Sharp. I'm getting my Greens and Sharps mixed up. Sharp kicks, looking for Addison. Good mark taken out in front. Well down the ground is Bryce Addison. Goes short now. The kick was almost perfect, but looking for Ryan. Just faded away, and now the Sydney Uni on the attack. They've been moving the ball well so far. Just finding options going forward. That was a great kick. Just pulled it, backed it up. Now and that one off the boot of Andrew Morris. And some very good ball movement pushing forward. Look at it again, comes out of the back line. The ball movement was fantastic. Just giving that, and this little kick here, the one just pulled it shortly and found the target. Good runners, really making St George pay on the rebound. And the finish was perfect. Kicking forward 50, not a great one, just punched away by Perry. And they're in the path of Underwood. Steps back to go around him, does very well in the end, Kyle Underwood. Kick smothered off the boot though. Now pushing through is Green, gets around one. Umpire's seen something from about 150 away. He's actually looked through an umpire to call it. Still hasn't signalled. And eventually we'll get to see it was a trip. And going to Harrison Green. And the shot on goal comes. Green gives it every chance, lets it up there, lets the ball do the talking, and Green gets one on the board from a free kick for St George. A quick look at it, see if we can pick up where the free kick came. Here on number 16. Just drops it, fumbles. Goes around. Oh, it's just there through the... I don't know if he made much contact. It's against Swartz. Umpire in a better position to make the call, but that was just a little throw out of the leg. As we get back in the centre, and 1 point ball game. Take that back, 5 point ball game at the moment. But it's been a blistering opening quarter. Both teams with 2 on his hammer. Umpire very keen to just let this one play out. Ball in motion. Plenty of tackling there. Tackle count will be up. There's a little bit of fire in there as well. Just good to see. 11-minute mark, first term. Sydney Uni by 5 points. Big sweeping handball going forward for the Dragons, although it's chopped off. And now on the rebound again. Although this time, oh, big don't argue from Sharp. And the mark's taken by Addison. So some good work there linking up. And Bryce Addison will have a shot on goal. Stuttering approach. Nice, calm finish, and they've kicked truly again, the Dragons, so they take the lead for the first time this afternoon. They lead by 1 point. Take a look here. It was the big don't argue that set it up from Ben Sharp. Awkwardly. You can see here, just says, no thank you. Not today, son. I'm away. And the mark taken by Addison, and the finish up to the task. Underway again. This time it's Smith that comes away for the Students. The handball just a hit and hope. Goes forward again, top of the square. Could have been a good one. And he's found Fig. In fact, actually... Garrity that's taken the mark. Unmissable in the fluoro yellow boots. There's Ronan Garrity comes in, sliding off the boot, but it's there, and another goal on the board. It's goal fest here at the moment for Sydney Uni and the Dragons. And Sydney Uni wrestle the lead back. They lead by 5. Very good shots on goal. 4 straight plays, 3-1. Approaching the 14-minute mark of this first term. Sydney Uni by 5. Quick kick out there from Orton. Green back on it. Could have been a free kick against Crichton. It is. Just played the man, not the ball. Green was the recipient. They go down now looking for West. Couldn't get his arms up in time. Pushing. Umpire says, I'll have it. We'll have a ball up on the wing. Some good football being played so far in this round 15 clash. Sydney Uni keen. Oh, big tackle there from Wilson. Stands over him and says, have that, thank you. And it's on. In the background. Kick coming. There's something going to blow over there. So there's real feeling in this game at the moment. Free kick not coming. Must have just been a tough hit. And no one willing to give up any ground at the moment. Jones gets it to the centre, and some good work there in defence. Plays on, which is an interesting decision. Under pressure. And some good little tap back to Sharp. And some great work from Lukakus at ground level as well. Sits up, Ryan just rips it in. Spins around onto the left boot. Looks at home, won't be online. In fact, just the minor score. 3-2 now at St George, but those big arms of Nick Ryan set the feelers out and grabbed it back in. St George playing a very tight zone. And they've got the numbers at this occasion. Plenty of cavalry coming in, and they get it straight back. Hodgson, handballs over, couldn't find it. Eventually ends in the arms of Orr. His kick, not a great one. And a big chaos kick out of defence. Awkward attempt at football by Glenn Smith. Craig wrapped up in a tackle. That was Vincent. And the umpire will have a close look and say, I'll have it. Coming, but not on this occasion. Was Frangos. Now Rod Craig couldn't bring it in. Spills free. Nice quick hands. The umpire saying too quick. And deemed to be a throw. Win with the ball. Let's see what's ahead of him. And looking for West. Couldn't get the mitts over. Wilson does well. Gives it to Jones. Now they're on the attack. Who's at the back of the pack? Going back there is Lording. In fact, it's not. It's Sharp. Spins back inside. Handballs to nobody. Tries to do a good tackle applied by Addison. And the umpire says very quickly on this occasion, I'll have it. We'll have a ball up. Ryan in the ruck work, doing it up against Smith. Falls clear, no one's advantage. Eventually now, West sitting back behind the play. Gives it quickly. Will kick from just outside what is claiming to be the 50-metre mark. Questionable here and the smaller ground. I think he stepped it out. Nosy accuracy out of bounds on the full. And at the 18-minute mark, it's still Sydney University leading by 4 points. 4 goals straight they've kicked. St George, 3 goals 2. But St George had the better of the play in the last 10 or 15 minutes or so. Sydney Uni started the game with a real flurry. They've broken through on a number of occasions. But St George just seemed to be settling into the game. Umpire says this one's out of bounds. Smith, beautiful work, puts it down, but right on his hammer was Addison. Good tackle applied. Handball just missed the target, goes backwards. Kilworth, we're tracking it back. Haven't seen much of him so far. And now this one's kicked, smothered off the boot. That'll be play on Kilworth there, applying the tackle. That was Vice-like there, as he wouldn't let the Sydney Uni students get through. Now they've worked it well. Green, good little bit of handball. Now Addison fires it in. And sitting back behind play is Glenn Smith. Bounce, lands in the arm of Gilbert. Tries to fire it in again. Smith gets another chance to get it out of the area. Does so now. They just need to find a little bit of composure. Evan Smith trying to get to this one. Couldn't get there, and the mark is played. Paid, sorry. And St George will reset. Ben Sharp having a great afternoon so far. High. And now they go again. Really no one kicking to no one at the moment, sorry. And this one falls through. The tackle applied and goes on with it a little bit. The umpire said held on for too long. This will be a St George free kick, I reckon. And there's something going on that he hasn't liked. He's paid downfield. It's actually against Sydney Uni. Well, it wasn't until the St George player took exception that the free kick came. They go into the 50. Oh, good mark taken. And that's Wetzler, Oliver Wetzler. They've got a couple of players down there that share the same hairstylist. This is Wetzler. Might have given the kick to Garrity earlier. This is Wetzler with the yellow boots on. There's a few. He has it, and he finishes. They've kicked 5 straight, the Students, and they jump out to a 10-point lead. I'll go back and have a look at the free kick as it was. You can see here it's Evan Smith. Applies the tackle, throws him to the ground. Still got a hold of him, still got a hold of him. Still got a hold of him and gets the free kick. Can't quite understand that. Either way. And back in the middle. And wrapped up in the tackle. And eventually, there's one being thrown in there from Rod Craig. And eventually it pops out for St George. And they'll run out of space here. Let's see through the window of the beautiful grandstand bar here. Reset. Plenty of players around this contest. Wrapped up in the tackle is Gilbert. An explanation offered from the crowd. Sharp once again picking up possessions across half back. Gets it out there to Thomas Green. Has real no option to go to, so eventually has to find an option, and it's a good one. Just doesn't sit, and now Sydney Uni will make them pay. They get on the rebound. 3-on-1 contest. Couldn't bring the mark in there, Fitzpatrick. He's in there trying to make some trouble. Back to Green. The old run around, and eventually comes off the boot of Milner. And he finds a target. That's a good kick up to Gilbert. He fires it inside 50. Nick Ryan leading the pack, but going back with the fly of the ball. It was a good effort just to bring the mark in. Vincent gives the handball back. Now Underwood backwards again. Need to find a target down the ground. They just kick and hope, and unfortunately that should be 50 metres, and the umpire just didn't see it. A few decisions at the moment going interesting ways. Win could have been high. Umpire has a close look, says holding the ball. So bit of a lottery at the moment, but some good football being played. Through the middle. Find the handles. Vincent eventually gets a second chance at it. Just hands it off. Gives it to all. Now they've just fumbled it. Now St George at the crucial moment. Won't get the kick, but a fantastic effort from Ben Sharp. Really leading the way at the moment for St George. Ball comes in, comes away. Lukakas hands it off. Steps inside Jones, one of their key ball movers, the Dragons. The kick comes up. Addison, had it in his hands, lost it. Kicks it around the corner. How will it bounce? Through for a minor score margin, back to 9 points. 25 minutes played first term, and that one's going to find the boundary line touched over. And we'll have a boundary throw in. Over the back of the pack once again. Umpire's seen a free kick. Holding free kick it is, and the 50-metre penalty. I get this a lot in that. I'm sure that the players sometimes know which way the free kick's going. Still, the umpire hasn't signalled which way it goes. He will now, but he still hasn't pointed in the direction. A lot of verbal communication going on out there, but doesn't help anyone else up here in the stands as Evan Smith's come through and takes a good mark on the lead. And he will go back to the chance to kick Sydney Uni 6 goals straight. Measured approach. Just sprayed it to the right, so their first blemish, the Students, the margin 10 points. Right on the siren too as we go into quarter time, with Evan Smith had a chance there to really put some scoreboard pressure on, but as it was, it is 5-1 Sydney University 31. St George 3-3-21, the margin 10 points. As we go into quarter time, it's been an entertaining game of football so far. And we'll take a short break here on AFL Sydney Live. And with the story so far, Sydney Uni leading by 10 points in this round 15 clash. We'll take a short break. Join us back here in about 5-10 minutes time. We'll bring you all the action from the second quarter. Just about set for the start of the second quarter here at Sydney University. It's the students who lead by 10 points going into the second term. 5-1-31 playing 3-3-21. We've just picked up there on our live broadcast the Sydney Uni coach just urging his backmen to stay tight. Found they were just losing their players a little bit. And the test will come in this second term as we're underway. Straight away it's Uni, you get the ball clear. Inventive kick there by Garrity. Trying to kick it on the outside of the left boot. Any result over the boundary line. St George had plenty of opportunities in that first term. But, just couldn't capitalise on the scoreboard. Sydney, on the other hand, they moved the ball quickly. Some very good results. Addison now just off the deck. Goes into dangerous territory. But up to the task are the students. This one across the face of goal. Uses the boundary line, could have been holding. How the umpire didn't see that, I don't know. Anyway, the kick comes in from Shaw. It's offline. Everything right there. The Sydney defender just wasn't looked after by the umpire. Kick out short. Underwood. His kick is a dreadful kick. Ends up in the arms of Jones. Inside he goes to Kilworth. Kilworth quickly makes them pay. And the Underwood kick just not up to task. And St George get an easy one. They bring the margin back to 3 points. Look at it again. Short kick. Really not the place you want to be standing to. He's really deep, almost next to the point post. And going backwards, didn't set himself. The kick is also going to a dangerous spot. Jones pounced. Kilworth finished off. And St George get one back. In the centre. Umpire's seen something here again. It's going to be a kick to Sydney Uni. Crichton. Handball out in front of Casperson. Haven't seen much of him this afternoon. Applies the tackle and umpire comes in. Sure that trying to get it on the run. Tackle as he goes through. Robertson is wrapped up. This umpire very keen to throw the ball in the air, get it in his hands. I thought Robertson had a chance to break a pack there or move the ball on. The ball was still in motion. Either way, we reset again. Swartz dispossessed. Oh, just took a backward step there, did Nick Ryan, trying to get around his opponent. Backed away from the football. Smith. Glenn. Touch ball. They fire it inside 50 again. Right at the back there is Evan Smith. Coming through was Fig. Couldn't finish off. Trouble with those Sydney Uni forwards. In fact, it was Wetzler. Apologies to Oliver Wetzler. I've called him a couple of different names so far. West, this time up against Fig. Fig wearing the blue sneakers, boots. Wetzler in the orange. Lights are on here at Sydney Uni. It's a beautiful afternoon. But just preparing for when the sun goes down. Rolling maul happening. Chris Fangros comes off. On comes Ben Hodgson. Another change, Scully comes on for the Students. And we get underway again. Quick kick off the bottom there, just puts it up. Opportunity for Evan Smith, comes off. This is Wetzler, wearing the yellow. Couldn't find the handle the first time, goes again. Handballs it out to advantage. Now the St George pounce. Craig throws on the left boot, bounces to where it needs to go to. They get it out. Casperson set for this one. Addison at the back. Addison did well. Rode the bump from Fig. Addison again in there, gets the handball off, and this time gets the free kick for a push in the back. Some good work from Addison. Should have been a free kick to the Sydney Uni defender, putting his arms in the air. One of those silly free kicks they brought in this year. Kicked over, and that could have been 50 and is. Can't do that. And Jones will be right in front now for a chance. Ben Jones, prime movers for St George. Kick from about 15, 18 metres out on the angle. Right, very gettable for the Dragons. This to put them back in front. Jones's kick slides a little bit, but it splits the middle, and they regain the lead. Quick look at the free kick. Short little kick, almost not 15. It's just that push there from Swartz. And he knew he was gone. St George lead by 3 points. They've kicked the first 2 of the quarter. What can Sydney Uni do in return? Trying to get it quickly out there was Crichton, but the Dragons pounce. And a good mark taken by Ryan, right on the square. He's inside 50, he may not even know it with the line markings here. Goes forward to West, and a good mark taken. So St George now really starting to dominate the game. And Jordan West with a kick on goal to take the margin out to 9 points. Big man Jordan West approaches it nicely, comes off the boot, sweet, but he just pushed it to the right. A minor score, margin 4 points in favour of the Dragons. Sydney under a little bit of pressure now. They went into the quarter time break 10 points up. They now trail by 4. Outside 50, and that is holding. It's going to go to Sydney Uni, and the advantage paid. Push it wide, looking for Fig. Wetzler there as well. Fig runs him down, and the umpire's going to say holding the man. So, been a lot of free kicks paid this afternoon. He's well off his mark there as he pushes inside. They go inside to the corridor. Jones the target, gets rid of one. Handball's off, gives it to Green. Green goes back again. And now they're working it wide. Some good work there from Harrison Green. Pops it over. Another short kick, just the required distance. And Hodgson with the ball. Another short kick, so they're happy to move it short and sharp. Now they go long, inside 50, the pack forms, and a big punch from the defender. Lands there once again with Hodgson. Now in the arms of Maples, they move it nicely. Good work from Morris, they got it back, one too many handballs, just handed off there, the umpire lets that one go. And just wrestled out of him was Grant Jones. Having a very good second term so far, Ben Jones. He's, as I said a couple of times, one of their key players. And some work there from Scully. Around his quite distance, a kick, although offline. It's picked out. Dragons defender. Now they go inside. Some good work from Wynn. Wheels around onto the left. Puts it out in front. Great kick. And Wilson takes the mark. Just got there. And will now go back and finish off. See here. Kick came through from Wynn. Wheeled around. As Wilson kicks the goal. And St George now skip out to a 10-point lead. They've done all the scoring in this second term, the Dragons. Sydney Uni just struggling to get the ball going forward. So the break has been kind to the boys from St George. Dominated this term so far. Words from Sydney Uni coaches coming true. The players finding some space in that forward half. And the students go forward again. This time it was Fremantle, and the free kick comes for high contact. Fremantle have a shot on goal. They desperately need this, Sydney Uni. They can't afford to let St George get too far out on the scoreboard. Luke Fremantle. Good kick off the boot, and it's got the way. And Sydney Uni get a little settler. Margin back to 4 points. Goal off a free kick. We'll have a look at it now. Comes out. Fremantle really took them on, showed a bit of pace, and it was the tackle from Lukakas. Questionable whether it was actually high. Bit of disappointment. Right, Fremantle finished off, and they now trail by 4 points. Handball looking for Wetzler. Through the middle, Fitzpatrick, and umpire will come in and ball this one up.
Good night! That's the smallest guy I've seen.
Sure, again, this time just hand it off. Once again, away, but eventually we find out it's going to get the lead back for Sydney Uni in a matter of 2 minutes. 6-2 plays 6-5, the margin 3 points. This one was Milner. Pushes wide. And Sydney Uni said there was nothing Evan Smith could do. Concocted there by St George. They knew they couldn't. The fly. This occasion just pushes it to the right. 6-2 plays 6-6. Kick comes out once again. Happy to go to that deep pocket, the students. This time a little better in the execution. And through, trying to find a way through was Smith. Just having to really pop the ball out into space. Be a free kick. It'll go to Alex Wynn. The high contact against Underwood. A couple of problems this quarter so far, Underwood, because that kick across goal has resulted in a turnover and a goal. Oh, Evan Smith tried to bash his way through, eventually gets out of the tackle, has to speculate the handball. West, the big man on the end of it. Good pick up, sharp. And Ryan gets in front of his opponent again. And we'll have another second opportunity. To learn from the previous kick. Nick Ryan. They lead by 4 points. This one strikes a little sweeter. Has it got the legs? Just sits up in the breeze and doesn't get the full journey. And eventually the umpire says, I'll have it. So a few opportunities gone begging for Nick Ryan. And that one just punched through for a rush behind. And the umpire's going to say, this is going to be interesting. That is, well, I'm open to find out what the ruling is there. As St George finish off with a goal. And the margin out to 10 points. It's off the ruck contest. See here, ball goes up. Third man up. Play on was the original call. And then he decided to change it. Either way, back in the middle. And it was a goal to St George. Sydney Uni go forward again. Sits up nicely. Running back with it is Crichton. Just couldn't get onto it. Has to swing round now. Handball's back. Now it lands in the arms of Vincent. Squares it up. Looking out there for Fig. Coming back onto it also there is Fremantle. And eventually over the boundary line. It's an opportunity for the Students now. The ball in their forward half. 7.5 played in the second term. St George dominated the game in this second term. They've turned a 10-point deficit into a 10-point lead. Now the Students with a chance. Fig from the back just pops it forward. Into the path there of Hodgson for the Dragons. Coming through. They go backwards and find Sharp, Ben Sharp. Plenty of touches this afternoon. Goes now. Intended to target there, Frangos. Umpires once again seen a free kick. And it'll go to Frangos. Goes short. Casperson was in the way. And Rickson is done for holding the ball. And don't play on. Holding the ball, you don't play on that situation. You're running into two players. It's a turnover. And St George now. Through the middle, Wilson at the back, takes the mark, swings on nicely. Swartz. But eventually gets where it needs to go to. They pop it up. Not a good kick. Didn't really give Fig any opportunity. And Milner up to the task, takes the mark for the Dragons. Oh, good strong mark taken. Sharp, he is having a day out this afternoon. Gets up a little proppy. Goes short. Once again, Mackenzie Hicks on the end of a 15.1 metre kick. Turnover comes. Perry drives them inside, and that's just a lazy kick. George now just waited for it, did Milner, and it didn't bounce the way he wanted to over the boundary line. I'll just have to wait for West wins this one down. Comes eventually to Wetzler on the end of it. Swung around into a bit of a defensive role in this quarter. And St George turn it over again. And And it's Scully with the ball. Looks forward. And up well, the Dragons. And comes off. Goes to Wilson. Handball over, looking for Kilworth. It sits up, but a nice little touch over eventually gets to him. Now he sizes up his options. Just goes with the right boot. Sets his teammate a task. 3-on-1. Scully again. Kicking in, but they come cavalry sharp. Looking a little proppy on that leg. All over the boundary line. 21.5 played in this second term. It's been a good one by the Dragons. A late one though from Sydney Uni. They just erase a little bit of the advantage. They pop it up. Good mark taken. And they go inside to the corridor. Just too much on it for Wetzler. And the mark taken by Green. Wetzler claiming the touch. Kilworth out in the wide open spaces. Good handball over. Finds Hodge. Just tries to drive it in. Casperson. The handball's hitting the deck at the moment. And they get it clear eventually. And it's Josh Smith. Goes in, finds Scully. Scully goes laterally backwards, and it's just not a good kick at all. Every opportunity now, and that's holding the ball. That was a great tackle applied. He had to do something. Dyson and his handball has hit the deck. Underwood was the intended target, didn't get there. Now St George, they have just popped it up, and that was a comedy of errors as Kilworth now just pops into the goal square. Oh, Nick Ryan's dropped the mark. Now you'll get the free kick. Wowee. Let you make your own comment on that. Have another look at it, because Nick Ryan will kick the goal. He'll finish off and kick one for St George. This will put the margin out to 16 points. The biggest margin we've had this afternoon. And umpire waiting for the all clear. Eventually gets it. And Dragons get another one. We'll have another look at it. It was really a comedy of errors coming in. Turnover after turnover. Kilworth gets the mark. Decides to seize Nick Ryan free in the square. Could have taken, it should have been an easy mark. Hits the thumbs. And, well, the free kick may have been justified. Just doesn't look good when the full forward drops a sitter and still gets the free kick. Either way, back in the middle, and St George come out again. And the big quick kick out there, and Kilworth starting to come into the game now, playing across that half forward line. And can kick this if he wants to. Kicks from inside 50 and goes the full way. And two quick ones late in the quarter, and the margin's out to 22 points in favour of the Dragons. And they've enjoyed that. The kick came out of the centre. It was a very quick kick, and Kilworth was perfectly positioned. Didn't really size them up. Eventually decides, I can kick this. And kicks it easily. And they go out again, the Dragons. They can ill afford another one, Sydney Uni. Already they've given away two in quick red time succession. Can they get one back themselves? Trying to show the ball was Orton, under pressure. Umpire will have a close look. He's locked and loaded, but he's coming in to ball it up. And at the 25-minute mark, the Students need something. 22 points the margin now as we go into the half-time break. Still time to kick another if they good enough. Look at the run here. Sydney Uni have dropped off the midfield. They go again, just pops it up and offline. Just had runners through the middle there, St George. There's something they've got to address at the half-time break. Sydney Uni so promising in that first term. Addison almost took the mark third time round. It pops up again. Ryan is going to contest with his own player, eventually off hands. So the siren can't come quick enough for the students. Once again, they go to that deep pocket. Seems to be the way. Underwood, well, he won't kick across goals here. Was so hesitant, and he was literally saved by the bell as halftime siren sounds, and it was a good one for the Dragons. They turned a 10-point margin at quarter time into a 24-point lead as we go into the main break, and those two late goals really putting some scoreboard pressure on the students. St George really trying to cement their second chance place in the finals. Sydney Uni a win today would really guarantee them of a spot in the September action. So a lot on the line for both sides this afternoon. But as we go into the halftime break, it is a 24-point margin in favour of the Dragons. 6-2 Sydney University, 9-8 St George, and it really was a dominant second term for the boys from St George. We'll take a short break here at Sydney University Oval number 1. It's the Dragons by 24 points.
Rolled up to yeah. Glad to see Mitchie. Is he still here? I hope not. He's probably caught on to someone else. Coattailed someone else. Same in the last one, he's like, he gets so sucked into all their vehicles, just doing all this other shit. And then you can't even prove what it's on. You can't do something to this shit.
same thing. The best problem is totally open.
As we welcome you back here to Sydney University Oval number 1. The wind just picking up a bit at the moment. It's very swirly. Doesn't really seem to be going in any given direction, but both teams forming huddles. Both know how important a win today could be in the context of their season. St George really trying to stay in the race for that second chance come finals time. As I said before, currently sitting in 4th position. Very similar percentage to Western Suburbs, who are above them and equal on points. But in that time, final 5 setup, a spot in that top 3 is ever so important. Western Suburbs, well, they take on North Shore this afternoon. And they'll be keen to keep their winning ways happening. St George, as I said, looking for that second chance. Sydney University, well, they just want to really cement their spot in the 5. Currently 6 points ahead of the University of New South Wales Eastern Suburbs Bulldogs. But a win today could really set up their finals campaign. Underway in the 3rd. It was a dominant second term by St George. Can they keep it going, or can the students arrest their dominance in this 3rd term? Nothing coming of the initial ball up. Could have been holding against West there. He's caught out of position, but the umpire said play on. Smith trying to get off the ground. A quick kick out of the pack from Orton. Falls fortuitously. Now they're away, Sydney Uni, sorry. Now a shot on goal has been a fantastic start to the quarter. And a good goal there to Coffey. And they get one straight out of the middle. The margin back to 18 points. Usually some good work from the ruckman, Smith. It's a quick kick from Orton. Fortuitously fell. And Coffey ran onto it. And heavily in pursuit, but was up to the task. Finished off. Back in the middle again. Excuse me. Kilworth at the back there. His kick didn't quite come off the boot the way expected. Lands there for Osborne. Osborne goes inside and finds a target in Underwood. So a good start here for the Students in this third term. Underwood goes short, and it's a good option. Gives it back to Osborne. And Osborne will kick from inside the 50-metre paint and take his best. Oh, and that's far from it. Out of bounds on the full. Short to Jones. Plenty of talk around the ball. Put some energy into it. They go down the line. Found Wilson. It's a good kick in the end. Wilson's kick inside. Quick turn. The pressure on. The Carcass it was the intended target. Addison now with the ball. Held onto it a little longer than maybe he should have. And eventually it'll be a ball up. Pushing through, trying to find a way through. There was Osborne again. In there is Jones. Applies the tackle now with Addison. Just moves laterally. No closer to either goal. Smith at the back just works his opponent in West under it. Underwood there trying to get a hand on it. They push through again. Vincent it was trying to burrow his way through. Now they try and go again. No, not really going anywhere. Underwood just grabs a hold of the ball and locks it in. We'll have our third ball up in succession. And a good contest between the two ruckmen. Comes wide and George just happy to see that over the boundary line. Boundary throw in. They kick the first, the Students. They need to peg one back. They trail by 18 points. Quickly off the boot of Vincent. Inside, oh, sits nicely for Evan Smith. Just couldn't get it onto his chest. Gets around one, swings around, it opens up, puts it on the boot. Has he brought it around two? He hasn't, and it's going to go out of bounds on the full. And I thought he might have. Thought he might have been able to create something there, Evan Smith. St George now with Jones. Runner wide. Sharp. That being Andrew Sharp. Eventually it goes over the boundary line, almost dead centre in the middle of the ground. As the players converge on this one. Smith up against Lording. Smith wins this one out. But so we find the intended target. Could be holding the ball here. The umpire will have a close look at it and pulls the trigger. He had the opportunity to get it out or at least get the ball clear. Didn't take it. So now St George have a chance to go forward. The kick, not a good one, just floated it up. No intended target, and now Sydney Uni with a chance. Couldn't take the mark, was Fitzpatrick. Eventually sits up for him, gets it away. They're inside 50, it'll be a race back with it. Bounce favours Sydney Uni, you'd think, but a good tackle applied by Craig. And eventually it comes, and holding the ball is the decision. It was a team tackle. Goes short. Found Thomas Green. For the lead, straight ahead if he wants it. Decides to go lateral. Gets it to Sharp. Sharp gives it back to Green. Running out of space down the sideline. The big fly comes, couldn't bring it down. Eventually lands with Harrison Green. Hands it back to Jones. Jones gets the little chip over. Mackenzie Hicks's kick has gone outside. Found Kilworth. Right on the boundary line. Goes quickly. Didn't quite get where it wanted to. Wilson, eventually it lands in his arms and he swings around. And the mark taken in defence by Fig. Now the big switch is on. They get it out to Nick Perry. Has plenty of space and he's got players to go to. Eventually just puts it into space. I think he was looking for Wetzler. It gets there eventually. Some good work at ground level. Hands it up. Scully throws it in. Now looks to the top of the arc. Just a floating kick in and no real attack from Sydney Uni. And this will be closely looked at, and it's been given deliberate out of bounds. And arguing the case, but it'll be Evan Smith who will take the kick. Jeez, he's a lot closer than 5 metres. Umpires ready to call play on. You'll see Evan Smith emerge. There he is. He's going to tack it straight on. Eventually squares it up and almost came off. Trying to get through, but St George up to the task. And they get it out of the danger zone and it splits over the top of the defence. Oh, big hit from Fig coming through. Same again on Josh Smith. But eventually gets going forward and a mark taken. So this is better from Sydney Uni. Really like this one is to bring the margin back to 12 points. Hop, skip and a jump in. Not a great looking kick off the boot. Won't even make the journey. And Smith flies. Couldn't bring it down. Second effort was fantastic. Spins around now. Onto the left boot. And just the minor score. Ends up halfway up the hill. A nice spot to be watching footy there at the moment. The sun's shining. Wind a little brisk. They go now, St George. West the target. Couldn't quite get there. Fig goes back with it. But St George up to the task. A very good handball there from Rickson. Inside, the tackle comes. Holding, the umpire's going to call a ball up. Very quick on the ball ups. West dominant in the ruck. Into, not really to an intended target. Eventually finds its way right to the back. And Sydney Uni, well, kick and hope. And goes over the boundary line. St George asking the question whether that one was deliberately out of bounds. Not forthcoming. West again, he's just too big in the ruck. Falls to Jones, had his opportunities. The umpire says holding the ball took too long. And good tackle applied by Ben Fitzpatrick. Need to find a target. That's not his best kick either. That's a shocker. Skills lacking a little bit at the moment from both sides. Jones in there again. Eventually gets into his arms and just gives himself a little bit of space. Sizes up his options, centered it up. Not a bad option. Goes forward. Oh, some good work at ground level from Dyson. And eventually the kick comes out and there's a ton of space on the far side. Just needs to sit nicely. Does so now. They've got options. A kick to a 2-on-1 and Rod Craig back there for the Dragons. They move it quickly. Found Wilson. Steps inside. gives it off. It was Hodgson. And his kick offline, and the 15-metre penalty will be coming. In fact, it won't be. Just a second whistle for good measure. It'll be Swartz to take the kick. Addison came in to the contest slightly late. Goes short, finds Fig. Once again, they go wide. This one will be too far wide and ends up over the fence. And Sharp to take the kick. 11 minutes played, third term. Sharp's kick looks sharp. Eventually gets through the arms there of Addison. Make sure his opponent doesn't get near the ball. A little bit going on off the ball. And eventually, St George take it away. It could have been high. Umpire says play on, so some things being picked up, some things being let go. Been a funny old day. Sydney Uni now, the little chip kick in. Didn't look good off the boot, but it's a intended target. Eventually gets there to Wetzler, and he'll have a shot on goal. A few arms up in the air from the St George players, wondering what the question is, what's going on a bit. I just need to settle. They were so good in that second term. Sydney Uni now starting to wrestle back momentum. Oliver Wetzler slides it off the boot, pushes it right. So a few opportunities gone begging in this term so far. Can't afford to be giving up goals when they're there for the taking. Long kick out of defence. Oh, went up about a week and a half early, did Michael Fig. And now with Wilson. His kick inside. Kilworth took the jump out, but the mark was taken. And it's Jones who'll take the kick on goal. So as quickly as you like. It's at the other end of the ground. And a shot on goal coming for the Dragons. And Jones just pushes it left. In fact, pushes it way left. And out of bounds on the full. So let-offs at both ends of the ground. Glenn Smith to take the kick in. Goes across goal. Casperson finds another target in the form of Maples. Goes back where it came from. So try to find another avenue. Casperson again sits nicely. Able to straighten up a little bit. This one sets the task. And it was Crichton from behind. Illegally, says the umpire, and Rod Craig will take the kick. Goes short, the kick-off, not a great one, just didn't get there in time. Dyson pounced, runs into his own player. Coming through was Hodgson. Gives it up, Sharp. Frangos just tries to dribble it, but it eventually lands in the arms of Smith. Steps around one like he wasn't even there. Smith has a shot on goal, and it's out of bounds on the full. And another shot on goal, gone begging. And the sharp shooting first quarter we saw, not quite at that heights at the moment. Three, fly. Eventually comes down. Oh, the tackle applied by Addison. Not going anywhere, and the umpire will come in, ball this one up. Just latched on, did Addison. Smith had a ton of work around the ground for Sydney Uni in the ruck. That being Glenn Smith. Fig gets this one out of the air, hands it off to Perry. Perry has a chance to run, uses a little bit of pace, has a second bounce. Now he puts it onto the boot. Comes back inside. Just goes through the legs. There was Morris. And they ask the question. And the umpire will ball it up. 15 and a half played, third term. It's St George by 16 points. Quick kick out of the ruck. We'll head to the boundary line. West wins this one down, but only goes as far as the Sydney Uni player. Oh, some good work. Stealing it away was Sharp. Eventually gets tackled. Tried to do a little bit too much with it. Might have been Jones. Sydney Uni with another opportunity. Gets out into some space. Steps inside. Now to the top of the square. Sets a task. In there was Wetzler at the front of the pack. Just floats in and stays up in the air a little longer than they thought. And now St George under pressure. Eventually got it away. A quick kick off the boot of Gilbert. And it's a good one. Finds Addison. And Addison moves the ball quickly. Oh, just tried to get it a bit further on beyond Wilson. But Smith, that being Josh Smith, back for the task. Figs kick, smothered on the man on the mark. Scully just trying to find, in fact it is Josh Smith, and he's tackled, gives the big wriggle. Trying to get it out. And we'll have a ball up. 17 minutes played, third term. It's Dragons by 16 points. They've stemmed a bit of the scoring at the moment, the students, but just can't find the scoreboard themselves. Osborne handing it off. They've got numbers around the contest. Students just need to find some space to work in. They go forward now. Wetzler tries to take it under a huge amount of pressure, and he dragged that one in. He'll be closely looked at now. The umpire blows it very quickly, and we'll have a ball up. Another one, beautiful work, and then through there was Crichton. Just gets it dribbling forward. Handball from Orr wasn't great. Gets it back to Sharp. Sharp's handball just hits the deck. A quick one out from Rickson. Trying to find some space to Wilson. Sits up there for Frangos. Back there with Rickson trying to help out. Just the target's not being hit at the moment. And eventually it's Rickson who gets it back. Goes down the line and looking for Kilworth. And eventually over the boundary line. The boundary throw in. Evan Smith now just sneaking forward. If they can get it down to him, he's all on his own. Eventually call him back. Comes in. Doesn't get past Frangos. Could have been a high contact. And deemed not so. Although Sam Orton was convinced it was his kick. Lukakas out of traffic. Sits up there for Smith, and he's just tackled over the boundary line. And another boundary throw in. 19 minutes played, third term. Smith up against West. Smith takes out the ruck, gives the handball off, and then does his own ruck work. Nice little stats package there for Smith. They go forward again, the students. Wetzler doesn't sit up nicely for him. Just turns him around the other way. And St George tracking back. Kilworth. Short. Finds Lukakas. Lukakas gives the big sweeper out. Finds Sharp. And Sharp nicely to Jones. Jones to Addison. In fact, they got in each other's way there, the St George players. And quick speculator, and Kilworth pounces. Now he goes back to where he intended to the first time. And Alex Wynn. A great kick from Wynn. Brings up chalk. Nick Ryan's arguing the fact. Eventually it'll be thrown in. Free kick coming. It's going to go the way of the Dragon. And it'll be Gilbert to take it. Hands it off to Jones. Jones now sizes up his options. He's got Ryan in the square if he wants to. They've got an extra man back there, Sydney Uni. Bounces back, but not far enough for minor score. And move it quickly. Casperson with the ball. Down the line. Gilbert back there for the Dragons, this time over the boundary line again. A little bit going on. Off the ball. Both teams know the urgency, and pounced upon is Smith. It is in the time on, 22 minutes played. Won't be a long quarter, you wouldn't feel. West tries to pop it in the path of the carcass. Free kick being given. It's going to go to the Students. Excuse me. Evan Smith now in the target. In fact, right in front there was Vincent. Now they've got some run. They need a late one, the Students. This one just to keep them in it. Wetzler. It's punched back inside. Will stay in. Back there, Green. Gets it across to Sharp. Pressure coming from Scully. And he forces the turnover. Smith. Oh, might have just run out of space. Umpire was right there. And we'll have a ball in. Come in again. Frangos. Casperson puts on the afterburners. Works his way inside. Top of the square. They'll sit nicely for Wetzler. Couldn't bring it down. And it goes out the same way. Still with an opportunity. Tried to go with the kick off the deck there. Did Rickson. In the end, he eventually got the kick away. Just touched his boot on the way down. There's a little bit of urgency in the Sydney Uni ranks at the moment. Wetzler again starts to drop, stop and roll, get back in. This one is over the boundary line. So
Let's go, Brady!
come in again. Addison overruns it. Nick Ryan in there as well at ground level, trying to get his way through there. It's Fremantle. Bounces dreadfully for Dyson, has to track back. Does so now, gets around one. Straightens up. Speculated through the middle, didn't quite get there, and Addison, who is dangerous around the ground, just gets back in defence when needed. They'd be happy to, oh, the turnover coming. Smith, could have been something there. And wasn't a great effort. Eventually Addison gets it again. He won't make the same mistake twice. Goes forward. Sharp. And the siren comes. So a low-scoring affair in the third term, but the margin back to 17 points. Sydney University really worked their way back into the game. And as we head into the final term, it'll be anyone's game. Sydney Uni, of course, as I said, just pegged it back a little bit in that third term, but the margin's still in the Dragons' advantage. As we go into three-quarter time, 7-4-46 Sydney University. They trail St George, 9-9-63. The margin 17 points. We'll take a very short break here and have all the action from the final term here from Sydney University. All set for the final term here at Sydney University Oval number 1. Margin 17 points in favour of the Dragons. Half-time score from the North Shore Western Suburbs game sees Western Suburbs well in control. So Sydney, St George really need to get the victory here today to make sure they stay in touch. They just need to get over the Students first. That one will come back. We'll have a secondary bounce. They need a quick kick. Sorry, quick goal out of the boundary line. Fig now worked into the ruck. Up against West. And they get the clearance off the boot of Orton. They go forward. Wetslip just overruns it. Comes back. Gives it to Vincent. Back to Wetslip. Good smother. St George. And that could be in the back. And the umpire have a close look and he says it is. And it'll be a Sydney Uni kick. And they dearly love this. Just start fighting back in the final term. Kick looks good. He's got the distance and just touched on the line. And 16 points the margin. Sydney now playing a really full zone. Forwards come, sorry, the backmen come right up to halfway. Oh, good mark taken by Daniel Rickson. And now they've got some work to do. Fig pushes back. Oh, takes a nice mark in front of his face. And can he be a little bit of a difference? They put him in the middle to try and spark something. Goes wide, comes now. Rickson finds himself with another kick. This time goes short, looking for Ryan. Eventually goes to Addison. And 50-metre penalty may come. Once again, no signal from the umpire, just verbal. And just doesn't help us up here at all. Addison now well within scoring distance. Addison will kick from inside the paint. It's short of 50. Comes off nicely. Will it make the distance? Not quite. Could have taken the mark there, but eventually rushed through. And St George get one back in the form of a behind. Quick ball movement from the Students. Breeze starts to pick up. Very cool in Sydney at the moment. Not just seeing around the country. Certainly in the southern states. Sydney, St George is that will try and make another attacking move. Wilson ends up with this one. Probably too far out to score. Students got plenty back. No one forward of halfway for them. Plays on. Tries to gain a little bit of extra meterage. Comes in low. Oh, Nick Ryan takes it. And a good result for the Dragons. Ryan comes in. He's to put quite a bit of a gap. And he's just pushed it right. So another let off for the Students. 18 points the margin. Perry. Another long down the line if he wants to use it. Does so. Gives it plenty of space. Addison. Oh, just couldn't get that second grab. Could have been a free kick, not coming. Work there from Vincent. And now it's wrapped up. Addison amongst that again. A little bit going on in the pack as they just unfold themselves from each other. West gives it down to Rickson. He's had a few good touches in this final term so far. They fire it in again. repair. Oh, Ryan it was at the front. Almost had the sit. Now Dyson. It's it off. But they get it back. Comes back looking for Nick Ryan. Goes out of bounds. And we'll have another boundary throw in. Sydney Uni get the clearance. Trying to get past Rod Craig. Just a nice little push in the back. Umpire saw it, and the free kick coming. Plays on quickly. Under a little bit of pressure. Gets away. Finds a nice target. In sharp. Spins around. Just wants to get it inside 50. Gives it plenty of air. Punch comes from behind from Smith. Eventually, oh, nicely dished out from Ryan. And a nice finish. And the Dragons have the first in the final term. And they skip out to a 24-point margin. Coming in again, just comes off hands of the pack. It was a nice little handball. Nick Ryan was good and just dished off. And a finish. St George now lead by 24 points. It's in a bounce. Fig in there just providing a contest, but really not trying to get up and over Jordan West. He's been good. This is George Ruckman the day. Goes forward. Ryan again. And the umpire says that's a throw. It'll be a student kick. Orton. Eventually gets out there to Dyson. Goes inside. They form and the mark taken. A good one by Orton. It's pushed down to get the second chance. Top of the square, Dragons, plenty of numbers back. And Smith hasn't really set the world on fire in front of goals this afternoon. St George defence take nothing away. They've been good, and that one there, Sharp, has been one of their best, although not his greatest kick. Smith. To Crichton. Crichton drives him in, but once again, the Dragon defence stands tall. Mark taking a little bit of Forson's back at the moment. Swartz puts it up, looking for Smith. Just hasn't got the height above the defenders. Oh, some good work there from Dyson. Steps around one, goes inside, pops it up, looking for Wetzler. But just the minor score. Sydney Uni take on the UTS Bats next week in round 16. St George, they take on the Eagles. Mark taken, no whistle coming, so must have been touched. Underwood eventually gets it off. They drive it into the top of the square again. Off hands. And St George standing tall again in defence, although this kick, just the kick out of defence, has landed in the arms of Maples. And he will go back and have a shot. St George, who took the points in round 7 of this year when they played. That won by 14 points. They currently lead by 23. Maples' kick looks good, and it's there. And the students peg one back. And much to the enjoyment of the plenty of people around here this afternoon.
Well done, mates, let's go!
8-6. Now Sydney Uni 54, they trail by 17 points, 10-11, 71 to the Dragons. 9.5 played in the final term. They need another one to really start putting some pressure on. This one comes out, Green, straight from the middle, goes wide, finds Jones. Comes back inside, a bit of a lazy kick, and it's Fitzpatrick who ends up with it. Couldn't quite get it clear. In there trying to bustle his way through was Maples, the goal scorer. Gets back, second option, very good work. On the left boot. It was Sharp that pushed back. And now the turnover comes again. This time it's Fremantle. Runs to a bit of space, pops it up, nice kick. And he's found Scully. And Scully will kick from about 50 out. Now be a little shorter. Is it hard at times to see the lines here at Sydney Uni? Scully's kick coming. It's got the distance, it's just offline. 16 points the margin now, 10 minutes played. Short from defence again, the Dragons. In the line on the turnover again, this time Smith. Wheels around. Sizes up his options, plenty of white jumpers around this one. Looking for Smith, comes off in the arms of Morris. The big speculating handball, gives it to Crichton. Crichton now to Scully. Can he get back onto his right boot? Crichton's tackled, ball spills free. Scully again goes backwards. They've worked their way out of the 50 now. He eventually gets to Garrity. Garrity's kick goes back into the centre, finding Swartz. So they're really controlling the play at the moment. They just need to get going forward. Swartz just takes his time. Told to play on now. Oh, does the old pop over. You see that plenty of times. Never seen it come off. Swartz has done it. Oh, off the chest of Dyson. And Craig there for the Dragons. A little bit of pressure relieved, given to Kilworth. He's told to play on. And that should have been holding the ball and is. And Kilworth is not happy. And a chance for Alex Dyson. It was a very quick play on call from the umpire. It may have been touched off the bit, although I did think I heard a whistle. And Dyson will have a shot on goal, just to bring the margin back to 10 points. Dyson's kick gives it plenty of air, just brings it to the left. And another one, 8-8 now, Sydney Uni. St George 10-11. Pause in play as St George player is forced to and retrieve the ball, even though there's probably one sitting right near the goals. .13 played, final term. Sydney Uni, all the momentum with them at the moment. They just need to find the big sticks. Fig having to work back onto it. Now tackle by Addison. Could have been holding the ball. Is a good tackle from Addison. And that might be the spark they need. Addison kick, looks for Kilworth. Also there, Wilson. Eventually comes clear. Hodgson. And the turnover. George tackling has been fantastic this afternoon. Addison once again, but it falls clear. Now with Coffey. So good for them this afternoon. Gilbert. Nick Shaw. Cavalry to come. Now he sees something he likes. The kick doesn't go where he intended it. Again to Rickson. Rickson's kick is good. Finds Nick Ryan. Just a little settler. We would need this. Ryan. Kicks from just outside the paint. Gives it every opportunity. Looks good. Just fades left. And still unable to find the big sticks. Either team. Margin 16 points. 15 and a half played. Perry wants to go long. Off hands. Hits the deck. And the students pounce. Scully. Handball's over. Eventually gets to Fremantle. And look at the pace. Just couldn't get around him. Ran out of space. The umpire says out of bounds. Seen a few of those today. The umpire's right onto it. Ball comes in. If you get the back, West brings this one down. Tackled straight away. In there was Evan Smith. I think it was Evan Smith. It was Vincent that applied the tackle. Once again, no one really wanting to take possession. Now they do. And another ball upcoming. Time running out for the students. They need to hit the scoreboard quickly. Comes back, Wynn tracks it back, turns around on it, tries to go back the way it came. Couldn't quite get it off the deck. Not a bad option in the scenario. And Lording couldn't get it. And it was Riley Orr that just tracked it over the boundary line. 17 minutes ticked over. West on his own. Fig then came in, tried to get the ball, secondary option. West dishes out. Sits up nicely. Kilworth, happy to see that over the boundary line. And they set up again. Fig this time just thumps it forward. Win onto it, so was Scully. Pops it over. They've worked this well, the students. They just need to get the next one going forward. They do so. Steps inside. Fremantle there. He just tracks it back. West for the Dragons. And the turnover comes. And now the kick. Going forward, two students spoil each other. Nick Ryan ends up with it. The handball over the top. Set up nicely. Turns around. They're just batting it. And he gets it back and finishes off Addison. And that might be just enough for the Dragons. A bit of a comedy of errors again going forward. As the ball came in, Nick Ryan was just out of position, was able to get back onto it. The handball was good. Don't know about the kick. Don't know about the spoil, and Addison got it back and eventually finished off. And could have been the sealer for St George. West again. He's really been dominant in the ruck. Somewhere where the students have really lacked this afternoon. Craig back on it. Such a good servant for the Dragons. And eventually goes over the boundary line. We'll have a boundary throw in. 19 and 15 played in the final term. Just about to tick into time on. And it's the Dragons by 22 points. Fig just tries to muscle his opponent under the ball. Win gives it off. That was Orr. And now they're just working forward again. Good attack from Wilson. Goes back inside. Eventually gets to Dyson of the students, but there's plenty back there. Dyson to Rickson. Heard that a few times in the 70s. different sport, though. In the 80s, could have given them a few years there as they go back through. And an opportunity now for the students. Crichton it is with the ball. It'll be a good kick to get there. He'll kick from well outside 50. It's on its way. Distance won't be an issue. How's the accuracy? Perfect. Good goal to Crichton. And they're not done with yet. (9-8-62) the students. 11-12-78 St George. The margin 16 points. We're into time on in the final term. Time may be against the students. They need 3 quick goals. And you'd think that the St George defence won't let that happen. An extra man in defence. The Dragons, it might be just the half back, half forward for Sydney Uni, just pushing back off the back of the square. That was him there coming through. Dyson, his kick was smothered. Tackle applied. It's Maples. Another tackle. Umpire says holding the ball on this occasion. And it'll go back to Kilworth of the Dragons. St George just need to soak up a little bit of time here, and that's what Kilworth's doing. Now he goes long. And the mark unable to take and win. Eventually gets it. But Smith for the students. Gives it off to Perry. Now he's under a bit of pressure. Back to Smith. And eventually gets to Fremantle. Now he's got pace. We'll have 1 bounce. We'll have 2. Doesn't come back to him though. Has to go back onto it. Eventually gets back doing a 360 and it gets around his opponent. And now puts it at the top of the square. And out of the space, out of the bounds. About 15, 20 metres around from the goals. Sydney Uni attacking. 22:30 played, final term. Can they build here, the students? Eventually it's a Vincent. His tackle applied. Now an opportunity, just walking around, pops it up. Couldn't quite get there. Here comes Wetzler. Gives it off to Casperson. Casperson tries to bring it around the corner, can't do so. Just a minor score, 15 points the margin. (23 minutes ticked over. George get it out of defence. Evan Smith there with a big punch going forward. Trying to build something. Crichton there. Casperson now. Tries to get it back. Eventually it's Nick Ryan from the Dragons who gets it. Throws it up. Lucky there to get it through. Gets it to Shaw. Shaw got runners through the middle of the ground. The students are coming. Underwood there. Tried to fly. In there was Osborne. Applied the tackle. Now they applied again. Didn't have an opportunity and will have a ball up in the centre of the ground.
Let's go, let's go!
24 minutes played. Oh, eventually Evan Smith, he rode the full weight of Jordan West in the ruck, and then it bounced back to him, threw it on the boot, and trickles over the boundary line. In their forward half, but 15 points. They've thrown Evan Smith in the ruck now, it seems. I just want an extra little bit of leap. He'll take this out of the ruck. Oh, it opened up for him. It was a shallow throw in. Go again. This time a little further in. Dragons up to the task again. They've just repelled the attack. Kilworth takes the mark. Soaks up a little bit of time. Tries to get out in front of Addison. The kick not a great one. And I'm not sure. Quick look, they're claiming out in full. The replay will show. Yeah, well out on the full, unfortunately. Boundary umpire was caught out of position. Really won't make a difference in the context of the game. As you feel it's just getting too much now. Crichton, old 1-2, goes forward, finds Wetzler. He needs to swing around, kick the goal very quickly. Shot on goal, it's a good one. And Wetzler's kicked one from the pocket. And the margin's back to 9 points. 26.5 played, final term. Time against the Students, but they haven't stopped giving. Once again, Evan Smith. This time he does get up and above Jordan West, so might have been a move that needed to be done a little bit earlier. He's been good in the ruck, West, for the Dragons, and umpire's seen something here. Holding the man, eventually get the signal, and it goes to the Dragons. And all the time in the world to soak up. As they do so, goes short. Find Lukakis. Another short one to Jones. Been amongst their best this afternoon. Long again, and Kilworth able to take the mark. So at the 27.5-minute mark, the siren can't be too far away. 9 points is the margin at the moment. Addison too far out to score. Longer than usual quarter, and they have been this afternoon. Drives them inside. Mark taken by Smith. Wants to run, does so. Comes wide, turns his player around, which is probably the way he should have been heading to start with. And the kick off the ground, and Sharp. Been stoic in defence. Looking for West, just puts it to the deck. Good enough to turn on it. Throws it long. And Casperson for the Students. And now Fitzpatrick. Crichton, and the siren sounds. And they were good in the final term, Sydney Uni, but not good enough to bridge the gap. It was a game that was really won in the second term by St George. And in the end, it's a 9-point margin in favour of the Dragons. They played out a 14-point game in round 7, and this time 9 points. So these two teams quite evenly matched. But on this occasion and on the previous occasion, St George come away with the points. They stay in touch now of that second chance. And Sydney University, well, they miss an opportunity to really cement their position in the final 5. So as we wrap up here at Sydney University Oval number 1, it is a 9-point win to the St George Dragons. They get back on the winning list. And Sydney University, well, they take on the UTS Bats next week. And they'll be keen to get the points there. St George, will they take on the Sydney Hills Eagles? And once again, the finals are just around the corner, and every win is so important. We'll wrap up here at Sydney University Oval number 1. It's the Dragons by 9 points. And we'll see you next week on AFL Sydney Live. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you soon.